everybody, welcome back to my channel, The Scientist Dr. Jason. And today, I'm very honored to have one of my best friends back in New Zealand, Dr. Ching Si, to do the video together with us. Say hi, Ching Si.
Everyone.
So Ching Si right now is in Sweden, working in a pharma company. She was a pharmacist back in Malaysia. The purpose of us doing this video today is actually to make a donation to Malaysia PD Foundation's Second Chance Program for the children who are affected by HIV. It is not easy to do this donation for the charity together with me. But before that, let's have some warm-up question, okay? Are you ready?
Okay. I'm ready, but I want to say a caveat here. I was a pharmacist, but then I practiced as a pharmacist like many years ago, and only for 2 years, so I don't remember much from that experience. So yeah,
Don't worry.
How well I do, yeah.
Let's have these warm-up questions. Is HIV a death sentence to you?
I guess the short answer is no, definitely no. HIV infection, in a way, it has been a known disease for a very long time. We know that with good virus suppression, many people are living with HIV up until like old age, but people can still live like normal life given that they are treated. Definitely, it's not a death sentence.
So you know, like Ching Si, you and me, both of us like to travel, right? The question here is, what is your advice? One of your friends is actually HIV positive. Any specific things that they need to do before they're traveling?
So you meant that person is living with HIV?
Yes.
And then that person is traveling elsewhere?
Yes. So for example, during your travel, you might lose your pills or you lost your luggage, or you might not have enough pills. Or even during at the immigration checkpoint, the immigration officer might come to you like, hey, what is this? It's like, do you have proof first? So what can you do in this kind of scenario?
Before you travel, I think the important thing is to make sure that you have sufficient supplies of the drug that you are currently on. When you are traveling, to bring along the prescription that you have from the doctor.
Right.
So that can be served as like a proof that you are on the drugs. And in case you lose the drug for any reason, like during the journey, then you can always go to see a doctor at the country.
The point that Ching Si made is very important, which is all correct. But one last thing here is, in the prescription letter, you should not tell your doctor to write about your HIV or AIDS condition, because no one other than yourself and your doctor need to know this. Because some other countries, when they have travel bans or some restrictions for HIV patients, these words might get you into trouble. Okay, so this is also very important for people who like to travel a lot, especially for people who are living with HIV, and maybe not even for them, maybe for people who have a chronic condition who need to take their pill daily or routinely, but there is a time difference or in different time zone. Oh no! So what is your advice?
The key is really that we always want to maintain maybe a certain level of the drug like in our body, so that we can kind of like continuously suppress like the viral load. Having a more stable level of the drug concentration in our body is the goal. So if we were to travel, then because of the time difference, then obviously I think it's not advisable to take the drug like at the same time. I think it doesn't make sense. So when you are travel, then I would suggest that you should slowly adjust the time when you take the drug. So what is important is kind of like the frequency that you take the drug. So if you are supposed to take it like, twice daily, it means that you have to take it like every 12 hours. So in that case, then you will have to calculate that when you take one dose at like 10 o'clock, like in Malaysia, then you should take another dose at like 12 hours later in a different country. But sometimes, of course, the timing is not very convenient if you calculate it. I think it's fine if you delay it like a little bit or take it slightly earlier, like by 2 hours earlier or 2 hours later. I think that shouldn't be a problem. And you can kind of like slowly adjust that until you find like a suitable timing, like establish like a new timing in a new place. I think that should be fine in general for all drugs that you are supposed to take continuously.
That is actually the right answer. So you just need to find the consistency and also the right time. For example, if it is 10 o'clock p.m. in Malaysia, it might be equivalent to 3 p.m. afternoon in the UK. then you can still take it. But if that is not convenient, then you can find your own time to adjust that. Plus minus 2 hours is actually negligible. As long as the main topic here is you have a suppressed viral load.
Yep.
Talking about taking pill consistently just now, that is one very important question I guess most of people who are HIV positive, they would like to know. Why should they take their pill consistently and uninterruptedly? And what would be the complications if they don't follow a stringent dosing regimen? For example, they miss the dose or they purposely do not want to take the pills. What would be the consequences?
Yeah, that is a good follow-up question. I think that's what we were discussing. Okay, if let's say we are not so good at maintaining that for some reason that we are not being compliant, we do not take the drugs like as regularly as instructed. There are also cases when we are just not responsive to treatment. So that is very possible for, in a way, for the HIV infection to worsen.
Oh my God!
That usually the HIV viral load is higher than what we would like. And second thing is the CD4 count that could also be too low, because the CD4 count tells us about the immune status. Then when the CD4 count is very low, then a lot of the time we are more susceptible to infection that would normally not affect healthy human beings.
That is a very good point, but it's not all of them. Another very important thing why people should take it consistently and also uninterruptedly is to avoid HIV-resistant strains. If someone with HIV actually misses his dose 1 or 2 days or intentionally miss he or her dose, it can actually lead to HIV resistance. Back in 2002, HIV specialists, they would like to know if the interrupted treatment is as good as the continuous treatment. So they established this study called the SMART study. However, this study actually stopped 1 year in advance in 2006 because more HIV patients die from AIDS, more HIV patients progress to AIDS, and more HIV patients experience severe complications. Because once the HIV drugs concentration decrease in your body, this can accumulate enough mutation of the HIV and then lead to HIV resistance. Oh my God!
I want to say that that is a very good point, because this is actually a global problem, like resistance to antiviral drugs and also antibiotics. So for antibiotics and also antivirus in general, so it's really advisable for everybody to take the drug as prescribed. Even though you do not understand why, it's fine. But take it as prescribed.
But I think the main point here is just to protect yourself, like to live like a normal person's life. Because if you don't take that, you might die early. Guy, you guys want to die early? No, go and travel and do whatever you guys want. Let's say now your neighbor's daughter's grandmother, auntie's daughters.
Okay.
Come to you and say, hey, Qingxi, I just got sexually assaulted by HIV positive guys or girls. Okay, you don't know. Okay, so I'm actually very worried that I might get infected by HIV. So what should I do now?
Hey, this is supposed to be a sad situation, but you make it in your end. It's hilarious.
Okay, that is one scenario. So let's say somebody just got sexually assaulted by a HIV positive person. So another scenario would be, hey, Qingxi, I think I just have a sexual intercourse with a HIV positive guy, but he or she didn't tell me that he's actually positive, but I suspect he or she might be HIV positive. Now I'm worried. What should I do? Please help me. Yeah. In these two situations, what would you tell your friends or your relative, whoever, the best way to prevent HIV?
Yeah, so I think in cases like this, as soon as that person can, they should really go and seek medical attention. So the main reason behind that is that I think it's very important for them to get post exposure prophylaxis like as soon as possible, because the sooner you start like the drug, the more likely that the drug can kill off the virus that may have like enter your body to kind of like prevent like a full-blown HIV infection. So I think there are some existing drugs that works very well. Actually, I cannot remember.
Don't worry. Don't worry. So in addition to that, what Chinzi said just now was there is a drug called post-exposure prophylaxis, whereby
Yes.
this person have to go to the emergency department in the hospital within 72 hours to
Yeah.
take the pill straight away for 28 days, so that these can actually help you to prevent HIV infection effectively. So let's thank Chinzi for your contribution to this charity. And I also hope that, or we also hope that for those of you who watch this can learn a lot from all of us, and also maybe kind enough to donate money to help these children who are affected by HIV for their future. Thank you. Bye-bye.